Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're doing the next installment of Retro Review. So we're looking at the 1D Mark II N. Now this is an interesting camera because it's basically just a Mark II with a very big screen on the back of it. So very big. For the time of this came out, 2005, that is a very big screen. I'm not sure why, because the shelf life was only I think a year and a half, 2 years on the Mark II, and then they brought this out as like a 0.5. That's why it's called the N. So I'm not sure if Nikon brought out a camera with a bigger screen, and then Canon was like, we need to act fast and just change it. But yeah, let's get into some photos I've taken today with this camera, with the 7200mm f2.8, and then I'll go through and what I think of the camera. So let's get in there now. Okay, so the first image we have here is of a hornet having a drink. Not something I've actually, to be honest, witnessed before, but it was quite interesting to see and take a photo of. Now it's a very sunny day. We're using the 7200 f2.8 at 2.8, and you can see it's an 8 megapixel photo, so it's not going to be the sharpest in the world, but you can see a little bit of fringing off on the left here. It's sharp, but not as sharp as you would get on like a more modern camera, but still an incredibly usable image. And if I had a macro lens on, it would have been a little bit nicer, just a bit of limitations of the 7200 if I'm honest, but still a very usable image here. Next image here is of one of the horses in the field next to mine, and this is a little bit more in details here. So using 7200 again, tracking on the face here. This is in bright sunshine, so it should be absolutely sharp, but you can see it still isn't as sharp as you'd hope it to be. It's still, again, a very usable image, but it's not the detailed sort of image you've come to get used to from a more modern camera. But this is almost a 20-year-old camera now, so we've got to give a bit of slack. 8 megapixel sensor, and say a very, very usable image. And the final image here we're going to look at here is a butterfly on a plant. I quite like this image. It's got a nice bit of colour from the plant, and then from the butterfly itself as well, and nice bits of bokeh and everything from the behind. So a really nice detailed photo, and I'm really happy with this final one from the camera. So there's some of the images I've taken, say only a little splattering of images what I've taken today with this camera. As you can see, it is only an 8 megapixel camera, so you're not going to get the sharpest images in the world. But these come in at £200 now, these camera bodies. Used to retail at about £5,000 back in the 2005. So you are getting a pro grade body feel for not very much money at all. And if it's the sort of thing where you've gone, I really want to know what a Canon 1D feels like to use, but you don't want to spend £7,000, £8,000, £9,000 on a 1DX or 1DX Mark II or something a bit more modern. You just want to put your sort of dip a pinky in, as it were, into the world of that pro level body. It's a really good camera to go for. I definitely go for this over the Mark II, just because that bigger screen, you've got a better ability to be able to review the images on the back of the screen on the camera, rather than having to rely on when you get home. With the Mark I, the Mark II and the 1DS Mark II, you've got that smaller screen, so you kind of are very reliant on waiting until you get home before you get that imagery, and you can tell if you've got the good photo. It's kind of that next stage up from film where you kind of are shooting a bit blind. You're obviously looking through the viewfinder and getting all the data, but until you get physically back home, you'll not be able to see that until the Mark II N came out, and then you've got that bigger display that you can see things for. Or you can also shoot redundant as well, so you've got 2 card slots in this, which is really useful. So if you really wanted to, you could shoot one set RAW, one set JPEG, and get those images there. You obviously will reduce the amount of buffer you'll get from the camera doing that, but there's an option there for it too. It's incredibly well built. Say this is now pretty much a 20-year camera. It still works as well as the day it was new. You don't have any of the creature comforts like you do on a more modern camera now, even like back button focus. You don't have that, so that's something that is something you have to get used to, and I always immediately go for that back button focus when I'm using one of these cameras, when I go to do these videos, I end up pressing the focus point button, because that's what's there instead on the back of these cameras. But again, it's fun to do these videos, it's fun to get out and see how these cameras perform. And if you're looking for a more retro camera, a pro body just to play with, this is definitely a good place to start, in my opinion. So super well built. Get one with less than 100,000 shutters if you can. There are them about when they do pop up. They do come quite low shutter count. Make sure it's been well looked after, and you'll have it for years to come and you'll enjoy using it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, comment and like you're always doing at the moment. It's great to see the community growing as it is, and I will catch you in the next one. See you then soon. Goodbye.